What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Thursday Night Football Show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Got my boy Luke Nettles with me. Marco Velasquez will be joining us in a second. He just got to take care of some business. Thursday night is here again. Carolina versus Houston. It should be a good one. I feel like it's going to be kind of evenly matched. Davis Mills didn't look too good in relief of Tyrod Taylor last week, but got a week underneath him. There's a reason why he's slotted in as a number 2 guy. Obviously Deshaun has his issues. He's not going to see the field tonight. But, let's go ahead and start off with that Houston team. There's been a lot of questions circling around them. Obviously, Deshaun Watson being the biggest story. But, as far as their play, it hasn't been that bad. You know what I mean? Coach Cauley has them playing pretty physical. They're not world beaters, but they're not doing too bad of a job. It looks to me like a team that will start to it could pick up. I feel like the energy that they're coming out of the gates with, I feel like this team could, you start to find it's a little bit of a groove. I'm not saying they're going to go ahead and win the AFC South or anything like that, but consistently building probably in what looks to be post Deshaun Watson. I feel like the Texans have a lot to prove tonight.
Yeah, they're. I don't know. I don't think this game's going to be close at all. I think Carolina's going to run away with it pretty easy. I don't think they're going to have an answer for McCaffrey, and then once he gets going, I don't think they have an answer for Robbie Anderson and some of those other receivers they have over there. So Houston's, has Houston really been any different since they came into the league? Like they're pretty much Houston and have been ever since they came into the league. They've had flashes. They got rid of Hop and JJ Watt and all those guys. So they had flashes. They had opportunities. They just couldn't get it done with a Billy O'Brien. I don't know. I feel like that running game needs to have an identity. Somebody needs to step up and be the number 1 guy and take that over, because the committee thing there, it doesn't seem like it's working. Everybody's running 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times for 20 yards. And you got to get it done. That's just not, you're running 20, 30, 40, 50 yards rushing for a game. You're asking, you're asking your quarterback and your receiving core to do everything. So,
did Luke just freeze like that?
He just froze like that.
All right, well, we're going to go pull Luke for a second until he gets his teeth off there. No, yeah, Marcus. Here he goes. I think he's back. You good?
Yeah.
And I agree with you as we welcome Marco Velasquez to the podcast. I agree with you. I feel like they need to get something going on the ground. Obviously, I'm older Mark Ingram. You know what I mean? I feel like Tyrod Taylor you're going to find some success with him. Like, he's able to throw downfield. He's able to use his legs. He's a smart quarterback. The problem with Tyrod is he can't stay healthy. So, Houston goes, to me, as far as Tyrod goes, and it used to go as far as Deshaun goes, and I don't think anything has changed. Their quarterback is their best offensive weapon at this point. As far as Carolina goes, you got a new quarterback in Sam Darnold. You got Christian McCaffrey. You added to it. The Carolina defense is looking really good. They've picked it up these past 2 weeks to start the season. They've been really good. How do you feel Carolina's gonna do that? Luke, I know you're you said that it's gonna be pretty much a blowout, Carolina over Houston. But Marco, how do you feel Carolina's gonna fare tonight? Sam Darnold, give him credit. He's been looking on fire. I feel like nobody in Carolina should be upset with Sam Darnold.
No, not at all. Sam Darnold is pretty much like I think he walked into a good situation down in Carolina. I think for today's game, the Panthers are walking in with the best defense in football in week 3. You know what I mean? They just came from, a complete dominant victory over the New Orleans Saints last week. I believe that Carolina is going to go in and run, pretty much, play the field. Against a rookie and Davis Mills, that Carolina's definitely going to, they're going to walk, run the field for sure.
Let me get off mute. Yeah, and I feel like the use of Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's he's been kind of quiet. You heard Stephen A. talking on Thursday about how Christian McCaffrey doesn't get the recognition he does at running back because he's a white running back. And white running backs are typically rare. I think the last one was really of any type of relevance was Peyton Hillis. And Peyton Hillis's run in the league was kind of just here and there. But Christian McCaffrey is a different type of running back. And I feel like especially in a game like this, where obviously the defense of the Houston Texans is kind of shoddy. You want to go ahead and get up quick. I feel like the use of Christian McCaffrey often and early is going to go ahead and be clutch or key to getting you that big lead that you want. Other than that, I feel like Sam Darnold just needs to continue to do what he's doing with Carolina. It doesn't seem like he's trying to do too much. He's hitting the guys that he's not. Obviously, it's not like 400-yard passing games, but 280, 2 touchdowns. I'll do with that. If you're splitting, obviously nobody likes interceptions, but if you're splitting touchdown and interceptions, as long as the ratio is even to plus, I'm okay with that as well. Like, you're going to struggle sometimes, but you got to give him credit in with the way he left the Jets and the way the Jets pretty much said, hey, we want somebody else to come here and at least for the first 2 games, play pretty much lights out. You got to give Sam Darnold credit.
Yeah, he's got some help down there too. Like I said, with having a McCaffrey, it limits his repetitions. He has to be passing the ball. So, that's always a plus for any quarterback. It doesn't matter if it's Tom Brady or Sam Darnold. I mean, they all need that. No, you don't want your quarterback throwing the ball 50, 60 times. Because that's when interceptions, picks, things happen, tip passes. So it's good for him. I think that he didn't have that in New York, so he probably looked a little worse in New York than what people thought. But he's going to be fine down there. They've got, like I said, they've got a good defense. They're coming off a big win over a division opponent, like Marco said. Beating the hell out of the Saints. Well, I don't know if you beat the hell out of them or if Jameis just showed up. But either way, Carolina won. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think this Houston team. I mean, let's be honest though. Houston did give Cleveland a run for their money last week. So I mean, Houston's not just laying down and just letting teams walk all over them. Like, they're putting up a fight. There's guys out there that want to win. They get paid to play football. So it'll be interesting. But I think I don't know. I just like what the Carolina Panthers do. I like their passing attack, and I like the fact that they have a horse back there in McCaffrey. And we might even see a good little tight end get going, a resurrection of Dan Arnold. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I got a whole bunch of Carolina people for my DraftKings, so that's where my head's at right now.
Yeah, and it's obviously the Carolina Panthers with the Bucs being in the South, and I feel like that one. We talked about it earlier. Like, it's going to be obviously the Bucs. But who's going to be that team, that antagonizer that's going to be right there? Mm-hmm. And obviously, early it's obviously the Carolina Panthers, heads above the rest, heads and shoulders above the rest. But I feel like as long as you stay healthy, because you saw how when Christian McCaffrey goes out, it's kind of like we don't have that weapon anymore, mm-hmm. And it obviously becomes running back by committee. And I feel like the health of the Carolina Panthers is the most important thing, as we progress throughout the season. Can they stay healthy in the South? Because, the Bucs got all 22 coming back. They're already off to a hot start. Tom Brady's on fire. Can this defense, build enough momentum and stay healthy enough, as well as their offensive players, to go ahead and be a formidable foe to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Because we've seen how strong the Bucs are. They'll just whoop your ass any type of way, defense, offense. Whatever, it just seems like they're going to outmatch you, especially this season.
Go ahead, Marco.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and I definitely appreciate what the Carolina Panthers are bringing to the table right now. It's I mean, let's face it, guys. I think we all like spoilers every season. In football, we all like that. That team that nobody really saw coming out. Expecting much from, and then here they come. Playing solid football, and I think Carolina's definitely bringing that. Sam Darnold, I mean, he's doing something with that offense. I mean, I think we all know the Sam Darnold story. I mean, he left a really bad Jets team. Everybody pretty much, counted him out, and I think he has a chance to prove himself, and that's what he's doing right now. I mean, it's only week 3, definitely a good opportunity, to show more on a nationally televised game tonight. But I like what Carolina's doing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of flip the script there, but we know what Carolina's doing. They look good. Darnold's playing great. The defense is keeping him in the games. McCaffrey's, he's due to break out. So let's just be ready for that at any given moment, because when that guy goes off, he goes off. So it'll be interesting. But the one bright spot really too for Houston, and he had a pretty good game it was the last week or the week before, was Brandon Cooks. It's going to be interesting to see if can this quarterback that they have playing today. Do they have chemistry? Can he throw that long ball? Can he hit Cooks? Because we all know Cooks is a speedster. He could stretch a defense, no problem. So I think that's going to be Houston's biggest problem. I mean, like I said, their running back by committee is not really a committee. It's more of like a, I don't even know what, but it's not good. With David Johnson, Ingram, and Phillip Lindsay. To me, if I'm down there, I think the Texans need to pick a running back and just stay with them. Then you could bring another guy and spell him if you have to. You could run a couple two running back packages just to keep people honest, and maybe stretch the defense out left and right. But it's going to be interesting to see. But I mean, like I said, I
Go ahead, finish up.
I just don't see the chemistry being developed this quickly in between the quarterback tonight and the receivers down there. So that's why I'm giving the edge to Carolina.
Yeah, at the running back by committee, I feel like you're absolutely right. It's not going to work. You have to choose one, but all three of those guys have been a feature back in their career, right? All three of the guys that the Houston Texans have. Obviously, they're on the back ends of those careers, but you need to go ahead and use what skills they have, like what qualities as a football player, as a running back that they are, best used for. Like go ahead and use David Johnson in the passing game. Ingram as your feature back because you want a threat in between the tackles. You want to make sure that they're staying honest as a defense. And a bigger back, obviously, I feel like they're obviously that eliminates that threat of the pass a little bit more. But you could also have a Lindsey next to him. You could put a Lindsey next to him. You could put two running backs in the backfield to help Davis Mills, a young Davis Mills who, like I said, like you said, can he hit a Brandon Cooks? Can within this week that he's had to have been acclimated to the offense fully, the number one team. Have you found any type of rhythm? And on top of that, like it really, you would hope it'd be Brandon Cooks, but as long as he finds rhythm with somebody, you need to be happy. As long as he protects the ball, finds a little bit of rhythm, doesn't make any mistakes, it's all you could ask for with a rookie quarterback who's been thrown into the fray after another freak injury. It's not necessarily freak, but it's just another unfortunate injury to Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, go ahead, Marco.
Absolutely, and what a moment for the Houston Texans to really, utilize what they have in the backfield. It's as we see time in and time out, with teams, whose quarterback goes out, it's always the running game that definitely is what really helps a quarterback settle down, figure out what he wants to do as far as his connections with his wide receivers. I'm tonight for I'm definitely predicting a very heavy run heavy game for the Houston Texans, at least to give take a little pressure off the quarterback. But it's interesting, in a good way, coming week 3, so early in the season. But I think Houston definitely needs to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, I just think like we talk about with whether it be quarterbacks, where we talked about it with the Bears. And how they're throwing Justin Fields in and stuff like that. To me, I feel like it goes the same way with the we were talking about the quarterbacks in this instance, but tonight I think in general I think it goes with running backs too. It's like running backs have to get in and feel the game and get a feel for the game and see how it's going and giving them time because sitting a guy down for 10 plays and being okay, cool, you're in for a play. All right, go sit down. Go tap so and so on the shoulder and send him in. Like that. I mean, I get in theory that it should, why coaches do it, but to me, it's like, I feel like, grab a player, stick with them. If you need to throw another one back there with them, do that. But like I said, it's just like I feel like it's pretty much any other position, really. If you're especially a guy that could, be toting the ball quite a bit, I feel like, the best way to get that is to get him in, let him get lathered up and let him start figuring it out on his own. Of course, he's going to get tired. Then you can bring in the next guy. But I just don't. I'm not a fan of the committee. Very rare. I just don't see it. Maybe let's say Cleveland. I guess you could say maybe Chubb and Kareem.
That's like we're talking about like a 3. The only time I really think it truly worked is in New England, where they had Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. You got a whole plethora of running backs that just kind of made their way through in and out. They brought some guys back, and like they were like New England. To me, has mastered, like not necessarily mastered, but they found the running backs that they want that fit their system. And to the most part, in their system, they've mastered that running back by committee because it just seems like they find production out of guys that aren't household names.
Yeah, I feel like New England's comparison just because like New England didn't have running backs, they had specialists. They had guys, James White, the guy running out of the backfield catching passes only. Like you weren't seeing him run between the tackles too much. You had this guy was good at this guy was good at that. That's great for Bill Belichick because he knew exactly what their strengths were and he knew how to use them. So rarely do you see that though with a committee. Like I said, I'd say Cleveland has a pretty good tandem with Chubb and Hunt, and they go about a 60-40 split unless one of them's hurt and then the other one picks up slack. But like I said, I'm just not a big fan of the especially a 3-back rotation. I can see a 2-back, but like 3-back rotation, I feel like it's just a little much, and you're just looking for a spark, and you're almost like a Hail Mary, but on the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
that's why that's just the thing that kind of irks me about it. But it's Houston, and if it's poor Houston, I mean they got rid of all their players, and I don't think that offensive line has ever been all that stellar. But hey, they're still out there fighting. So let's see what they do.
All right, Marco, we're going to go and get our predictions before we go ahead and wrap things up. Marco, what is your prediction on the night, Texans versus Panthers?
Honestly, I'm predicting a high-scoring game for the Panthers. I'm predicting a 33-14 victory for Carolina tonight. Establishing the run game for Houston, I think they'll get some touchdowns in there in the red zone, But at the end of the game, I think Carolina's just going to be too much for Houston.
Yeah, I think I'm going Carolina as well. I just like the receivers they have, with Robbie Anderson and even Zylstra caught one last week. So I like the receivers. I like the old guy Dan Arnold at tight end. But like I said, I think it comes down to McCaffrey. I think they get up, and then they just run. And then it's just start working clock and running the ball all over them. So I'm gonna say I'll go about 35-17.
Okay, yeah, I feel like it's not going to be pretty for Houston. They obviously if they keep it close, it'll be huge for them because it's like I said, momentum. You know what kind of team you are. Like your team is kind of in shambles right now. New head coach, new everything. Like your quarterback's in trouble. There's a lot going on there. I feel like if you keep it close, and I'm not one for moral victories as much, but like especially in sports with sports franchises, I'm more like you got to show me at a certain point. But for this could be if they could keep it close and make it a game with Carolina. Obviously if they win it'll be huge, but if they could just keep it close, I feel like that should be something to put to at least put your hanger hat on because your team isn't that good. If you put up a fight against one of the better teams in the league. You should get some, you should have some, momentum. You should have some pride in yourself going into the week ahead and, the rest of the season. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Carolina 42-20.
Wow.
Yeah. I just feel like the defense is not that good for Tennessee or for the Houston Texans. I feel like Sam Darnold's, like I said, he's gotten that groove. He was just a clip over 300 last week. He had 2 touchdowns, a pick. He had a touch. He was close to 200 yards the week before. He's close to 300 yards or 2. I'm not sure, but he had a good game the week before. I feel like that momentum continues against a bad defense in the Houston Texans. But like I said, any given Sunday, even though I think Houston might get routed here tonight, what I'm saying? Any given Sunday, Thursday, Monday, you could upset a team if you're prepared and they are not. That's the whole thing. The key thing is you always have to be prepared because you don't know what the other team's going to be doing. But anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here for the pregame show of the Thursday night football on the Thursday Night Football show on SportsZone Chicago. I'm Ivan Vargas for Luke Nettles and Marco Velasquez. We will see you at the I don't know. I have to talk with these guys. It might be the post game. It might be the half. I'll talk to you guys in a second here when we wrap things up. All right. Peace.